Hey parents, this is an important one today, how to manage your anger with your child. I'll have a top 10 list, so stick around clear to the end. Number 10 on our list, we'll do this in a countdown fashion, is to understand anger. Understand what it is and how it works on your own mind. There are some pretty straightforward psychological principles that drive this. Basically, when we feel anger, it's our brain's fight or flight response that's kicking in. Is your child a threat to you? Now, don't answer that too fast, okay? No, this is your offspring. This is your lovely child, not a threat. But we feel threatened sometimes when we perceive that things are not the way that they should be, or that they're not behaving in a way that we would expect or obeying us. That creates a false sense of threat. So just know some things about anger and how it works with you and how you can manage that anger. If you need some help with that, we got some other videos here on the channel that will help you with anger specifically. That's number 10. Now let's move up the list a notch to number 9. Take care of yourself. I basically have 4 rules for parents, and number 1 is take care of yourself. I just came back from visiting my own grandkids in another state, and as we were flying back, Vicki and I were seated in the airplane, and they went through the safety routine. They always do this. At some point in the routine, they say, if we lose cabin pressure, these very attractive oxygen masks will fall from the ceiling. Put your own mask on first, and then you can help whoever you're traveling with, including your child. This is so true for parents. Who's going to take care of you? I had a mom in my office once who was so overwhelmed and so stressed. I had her do a little activity where she wrote a list of everything that she was responsible for, everything that she was taking care of. And that list got long, and she had to turn the page and go to the next page. And she kept going, and then she started slowing down, and she got to the end of it, and she said, okay, that's pretty much it. I looked over all 3 pages. Guess what was missing? Her. Who's going to take care of mom? You got to take care of yourself. But you're not in this alone. So let's go to number 8. Number 8 on our list is to take care of the team, the parenting team. So if you're married, that means your spouse, you and your spouse form that parenting team. If you're not, then who else do you have on your team? And it might be a caregiver, a babysitter, a nanny. It might be professionals like counselors or teachers or people who interact with your child or assist you in your role as a parent. I'm on your team, and you don't have to do a lot to take care of me, but keep coming to the channel. Show up. Let our team here at Live on Purpose TV serve you. You'll notice that sometimes I have guests come on to talk about specific topics or aspects of parenting that you might be wondering about. We're part of your team here. That's awesome. Take care of your team. Now, the number 7 way to manage your anger with your child is to adjust your expectations. Anger usually is considered a secondary emotion, which means that something else came first. One of the things that triggers anger more often than anything else I know is a violation of your expectations. So you were expecting your kid to do this, and your kid did that instead. How often does that happen to you? What if you were to adjust your expectation? Adjust your expectation and try something like this. Whatever my child does is perfect for me. That's going to be a little hard to wrap your head around, but if you'll try this, take it from a perspective of, look, they're kids. They do kid kinds of things. If you totally expect that, then you won't be tipped over when they do those typical kid type things. Adjust your expectations. And that leads me right to number 6 on our list of how to manage your anger with your child. Try on a new belief. The old belief. The old belief might have been, things are not the way they should be. This is not happening the way I want it to. Old belief. Let's try on a new belief. Things are exactly as they should be. This is perfect for me. Do you know for sure that things are not the way they should be? Like you've got some connection to the grand scheme of all things, and you know for sure that things are not the way they should be? No, you don't know that. Do you know that they are the way that they should be? No, you don't know that either. So you got to pick a position. One of those. The old belief was, things are not the way they should be. That triggers anger, doesn't it? Yeah. Or things are exactly as they should be. If I try on that belief, is there any room for anger in there? Not really. I'm good because things are exactly as they should be. Try it on. Play with that one a little bit. Get a little coaching if you need it. Tip number 5 on how to manage your anger with your children. Enjoy them. Does that sound a little weird? I'm saying it as if it's a choice. I happen to think that it is. If you're doing some of the other tips that we're talking about on this top 10 list, you're going to find it easier to enjoy them. You can choose to do this. I had a dad in my office who was so frustrated and was getting angry a lot with his son. I gave him an assignment. I said, your assignment is to enjoy him. And then we set up a little mental experiment. What if your assignment carries with it $1,000 reward? In other words, if you do this, if you pull it off, if you can enjoy your son for 3 days in a row, you get $1,000. He's like, well, oh. And he had to rethink it. See, because he thought that he didn't have any choice in the matter. I said, what would you do if $1,000 were riding on it? What would you do to enjoy your son? And he said, well, I'd have to change how I think. Oh, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, you'll have to change how you think. If you can back off and become a little more distant from the situation, and remember, your job is to enjoy them, that's a pretty powerful little tool. That's why it's number 5 on our list. But that's not as powerful as number 4. Number 4 is to stay positive. I go on and on and on about positivity. It's my thing. It's my topic. I've written 2 books on the subject. I'm a big fan of positivity. Here's the short version. You get into a position of gratitude for what is, the way things are right now without changing anything. And then you get really intentional about improving it. And it's going to change in some way. So let's be intentional about which direction we want it to go. Gratitude for what is and intentional upgrades. That's the quick version of positivity. Let's go to number 3. For this one, I want to get kind of serious with you for a minute. I want you to remember who they are. Your kids. Kids are not possessions. You don't own them. They're not little copies of you. Kids are people. Human beings who arrived on this planet after you. Why do you get to be this kid's parent? I don't know. Because you showed up on the planet before they did? What if they would have been born first? Maybe you were their kid. I don't know. We're all in a long string of people who have no idea what they're doing. People who came before us, people who come after us, and we're all more alike than we are different. Your kids are people. Remember who they are. And for me, this becomes a spiritual issue too, because I think that we have a sacred stewardship to take care of these vulnerable children while they develop into full-grown people. And then, you know what? Part of our job as a parent is to work ourselves out of a job, because eventually we want them to go off and do their own thing. right? This is a short period of time that you get to spend with another human being who showed up in your life as a responsibility and a stewardship. Remember who they are. And now up to number 2. Remember your job. I just said that part of your job is to work your way out of a job. Here's your main job. Your job is to love them, no matter what, and even if. I go over this with parents all the time because we all get distracted sometimes from our job, and we think that our job is to make sure that they, whatever, make sure that they're happy. Oh, that sounds so nice, but can you do that? No, you're not even capable of doing that. It's not up to you. Make sure that they're safe. Can't do that either. And I consult with parents all the time whose children were hurt or even killed. It's not your job to make sure that they're safe. We're going to take certain steps to manage the risk, but we can't make sure that they're always safe, can we? Make sure that they get their homework done. Make sure that they succeed in school. Make sure that they're productive citizens. Do you see how maddening that could be? You want to manage your anger with your child, you get serious about your job. And your job is to love them no matter what, and even if. That leads us up to number 1. I want you to remember who you are. We already talked about number 3, that you want to remember who they are. You remember who you are, because for whatever reason, you were picked to be this child's parent. You. What qualifies you for that? Well, actually a lot of things do. You are a benevolent, generous, loving parent. If you didn't believe that as I said it, then we got some work to do on your mindset. That's what some of the other tips are for. It's true, and we can make a valid argument toward that end. You need to remember that. Because if you see yourself as a loving, generous, benevolent parent, you're going to show up differently for your little ones or for your bigger ones. It's important for you to remember who you are. Don't lose sight of that. You're an amazing person. You've got this. Parenting, it's a big deal. And you've got this with the resources that are available. If you haven't checked out the Parenting Power Up, I really want to invite you to do that. ParentingPowerUp.com. This is a resource that Vicki and I have put together. We've teamed up because we've been parents together for almost 30 years now. We've teamed up to bring you some powerful modules that will assist you in your journey as a parent. I hope you check it out. I could be color unknown, and then I tell how to look into my eyes and never let